did Prince get the drug that killed him, an opioid almost 100 times stronger than morphine? That's just one of the questions being asked after the medical examiner confirmed Prince died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl. That's the painkiller the superstar self-administered, according to the medical examiner's report. Joining us to talk all about this, Dr. Howard Samuels, addiction specialist and founder of the Hills Treatment Center. Dr. Samuels, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Now that we know that Prince died of a fentanyl overdose, what's your reaction?
Well, first of all, I find that to be extremely unsettling. I mean, this is one of the most potent drugs there is on the market. And for him to have access to it, and this drug, you have to understand, is usually just in hospitals for extreme pain, car accidents, gunshot wounds, cancer. So for him to have a prescription for this drug, there's something seriously wrong for him to be in possession of this.
Well, we don't necessarily know yet if he obtained this drug through a prescription or in any other way that he may have obtained it. We're still trying to confirm that. We have a sound of someone who had an opiate addiction, and she talks about how it all began. I want to take a listen to that, and then we'll talk afterwards.
It was years before that till I got to the hydrocodone. So I did everything first. I tried all kinds of different doctors, all kinds of different medicine. I was even hospitalized with some drips that they did for a while. They tried to do everything before they went to the pain meds. And then once they went to the pain meds, it helped immediately. Like, it was the one thing of all the things that helped instantly. What happens with these kind of drugs is that they perpetuate the pain. So they actually made my migraines worse. So in the beginning, they help, and then there's a switch that the drug flips, and it starts to make it worse.
So you need more?
So you need more.
So Dr. Samuels, Sheila Ia said Prince was dealing with chronic pain. He had had hip surgery. He had knee problems. There were reports he was using pain meds like Percocet as far back as 2010. How do you go from using Percocet, possibly in 2010, to now fentanyl?
Well, that's easily explained. I mean, first of all, I'm a recovering heroin addict, just so you know that. So I'm very familiar with opiates, heroin, and pain pills. Now, a lot of my clients in my treatment center, the Hills, they'll come in and they may have been taking 50 or 60 pain medications in one day. Now, the reason for that is because the more that you take it and the longer you on, you build a higher tolerance. So you need more, you need more, you need more. Now, somebody like Prince, who probably has been addicted to Oxycontin, you know, and other pain medications, he probably needed a much stronger drug in order for it to be effective. Now, this is where it gets very tricky, is that if he was under a doctor's care, the doctor would have known that Prince was already addicted to these kinds of drugs. So that's why I find it very bizarre that he was able to get away with this.
On the NIH website, Dr. Samuels, it says one of the reasons fentanyl is prescribed is to manage pain after surgery and also for people with chronic pain who are physically tolerant to opiates. And it's also a Schedule II drug. If it's that lethal, the way people are talking about fentanyl, how is it that it keeps being prescribed?
Absolutely, it's that lethal. I mean, one of the, big reasons that we're getting a lot of heroin overdoses these days all over the country is because a lot of the drug dealers are now cutting heroin with fentanyl. Now, the heroin addict doesn't know this, so they've added to the potency of the heroin dose by putting a little fentanyl in there, and then the addict ODs and dies. So, the reason for fentanyl is not, in my book, should be a reason to increase the addiction and increase the tolerance for the client. If you've gotten to that point where you need fentanyl and you've already been on Oxycontin for a long time or Vicodin, then we got some serious problems with these doctors.
What's the behavior of someone on fentanyl?
You're nodding out, you're falling asleep, you have a euphoric feeling, you're numb all over. It really is quite an intense high. That's why it's so sought after. It's much more long-lasting than heroin or morphine. It can, be in effect for hours and hours and hours, where heroin or morphine is effective for just a couple hours, 3 hours, and then you need another shot.
You were a former heroin addict, as you said, also cocaine addict. You drank a lot. Now you're treating people with those very problems. There are a lot of people out there, though, that have prescription pill addictions. What is some of the key differences between those two addictions?
Well, first of all, if you've become addicted to an opiate, you've really crossed the line. You've got to find an alternative, because if you're already addicted, you already know that the pain medication is losing its effectiveness on you because your tolerance has gotten so high. So if you continue with more and more of the drug in order for it to take effect, you're really heading to really dangerous territory. That's why we have to take a look at how we really manage this drug and what kind of, where's the line that we don't cross. Because a lot of these people should be detoxed and really sort of try to find other pain medication that is not as harmful. That's the issue.
And in all the stories that I've been hearing over the last couple of weeks, I mean, it doesn't really seem like there is a line right now, doctor, and that's really...
Well, and that's the problem.
Right.
And that's the problem. And that's the problem, that a lot of the doctors are just throwing more and more pills. And know something, then the individual who's addicted has got to go outside, and do it illegally. And that's where the problem is.
Dr. Howard Samuels, really appreciate your insight on this. Thank you for joining us.